Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is That Side Character Chapter 3, and this one is titled Yin Sticks Like Glue. Kenma, he replied softly. You put your hand out to shake his, and he looked down at it, and then he gripped his PSP a little harder, so you pulled your hand back and just waved instead. That's cool, I'll just wave, you said with a stupid grin on your face. He looked at you again, and then looked back down at his handheld, and walked on, not engaging one bit more as he left you standing there watching him leave. What an odd guy, you thought as you watched him make his way down the hallway, weaving in and out of people while still playing his game. With a shrug, you turned back and closed your locker door, and then started off in the same direction as him towards your first class. Stepping up into the classroom, you walked to your seat and dropped your things down on it, and then sat down and stared at the whiteboard ahead. White, like ice cream. I like ice cream. I'm going to get some on break today, but I prefer the ice cream from the corner store because it's better there, and it's a bit away from the school, so I'll have to run. I'm good at running and jumping. I jumped that fence. Kenma. Yin! You jumped, snapping back to the present, looking at the teacher who was staring directly at you. Yeah? You asked bluntly. Please, come to the front of the class and read the first part of the book today, she said, clicking her fingers to get you to hurry up. You got up and walked to the front and then stood there. Book! Yin! Get your book! She said in an exasperated tone, pointing back to your desk. Oh, yeah, you mumbled, turning back around to get it. Honestly, Yin, pay attention and stop spacing out all the time, she muttered as you happily got your book and then walked back to the front of the classroom. You spun around to face the class and grinned stupidly at everyone as you flicked the book open in your hands. Just as you were about to start reading, you spotted a familiar person at the back of the room and made a noise of recognition. Yin, the teacher snapped again. Read! Oh, right, you said, dropping your gaze from the petrified-looking blonde-haired guy who you'd incorrectly named Jeff to your book and started reading. From the back of the room, Kenma sighed with relief. Oh, I thought she was going to call my name and then everyone would have looked at me, he thought, the image of everyone turning in their seats to stare at him making his whole body tingle with absolute terror. Unfortunately, you never got your ice cream in break. Instead, you got a lecture about paying attention in class, and by the end of the day you felt like you had earned that damn ice cream. Hey Yin, see you tomorrow, a classmate called to you as you grabbed your bag, shoved a few books and stuff into it, and then threw it over your shoulder and headed for the stairs. Yeah, see ya, ice cream, you said back to the classmate, not even bothering to look at them as the thought of ice cream consumed your mind. Down the stairs you jumped, then off you ran towards the front gates, but movement in the corner of your eye stopped you when you saw a lone person walking across the oval by themselves. You stopped and looked at them. Jeff! You suddenly screamed, turning and racing towards the back of the person. Jeff, better known as Kenma, was knees deep in a difficult level on his PSP, and hadn't heard your yell, nor recognised it as a call to him, and kept walking with his head down, eyes glued on his screen. Hey! You called brightly as you got up beside him, your sudden voice making him jump with fright, nearly dropping his console. He looked at you, cowering slightly away from you. To be honest, your loudness scared him a little. He didn't quite know how to take you. It's, Kenma, right? You said with a smile. I never asked how you found my my keys. He blinked and looked back down at his game in hand. They were on the ground, he said softly. Oh, yeah, okay. At the brick fence where you were sitting when I came over, you said, falling in step beside him as he started to walk again. He shook his head while he still looked down at his game. No, on the other side, he corrected you. Oh, wait, how do you know that they were on the other side? You asked curiously. Because that's my backyard you ran through, and they fell into the garden as you climbed over the fence, he replied, still looking at his game. Your backyard... Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. I was running late and needed to take a shortcut, you apologised, pulling a face. Hey, but now that we're friends, I can use it, right? Never know when you're running late to school and need that life-saving cheat code. Kenma had zoned out within the first few parts of your sentence, and to be honest, once you had finally stopped talking, you had completely vanished from his mind altogether. It was only when he walked up his front steps and unlocked his front door that he realised that you were still beside him. Wow, this is a nice house. Which room's yours? You asked brightly. It's at the back of the house, right? Because you saw me in the backyard, unless you were in the kitchen or something and looked out the window instead. What does your room look like? But Kenma had very swiftly entered his house and had closed the front door on you quickly, like he was escaping from a fly that had been buzzing around him. You stopped, staring at the white wooden door that had been closed in your face. Ice cream, you said suddenly, remembering your original mission. the quest for cold, creamy goodness, and turned, dashing off in the direction of the corner store. The next morning, Kenma was in his room, sitting on his bed with his back against his bedroom wall, when he suddenly heard the most horrifying sound in the world, your voice screaming his name. Terrified, he dropped his PSP and grabbed his pillow, throwing it over his head and dropping his face to his bed. His heartbeat was thumping wildly and he stayed deathly still, praying that you would just leave him be. He really is like a cat, isn't he? He just wants to be left alone. Stay tuned for Chapter 4 coming tomorrow.